Over 2.5 millennia ago, in a lush land at the foothills of the Himalayas, a child was born who would one day change the course of human history. This child, Siddhartha Gautama, came into the world with all the trappings of royalty and privilege. Yet, it was not the luxury of palace life that would define him, but an inward journey that led him far beyond the golden gates of his family's estate. This is the extraordinary story of how one man's search for meaning gave rise to Buddhism, a path followed by millions seeking peace, wisdom, and understanding.
The tale begins in the royal palace of the Shakya clan, in what is now Nepal, around 563 BCE. King Suddhodana and Queen Maya welcomed their son Siddhartha into a world of unparalleled comfort. The legend tells us that shortly after Siddhartha's birth, wise men visited the palace, bearing prophecies about the infant prince's future. They foresaw two possible destinies. Siddhartha would become either a powerful ruler, who would command great armies and bring prosperity to his people, or a spiritual leader whose teachings would liberate countless souls.
Mindful of these predictions and wanting his son to embrace the destiny of an emperor, Siddhartha's father took extraordinary measures to shield him. The prince was enveloped in luxury, a cocoon crafted with silken clothes, feasts, celebrations, and gardens in perpetual bloom. Every joy was within arm's reach, every sorrow kept carefully outside the palace walls. Sickness, aging, and death were hidden from Siddhartha's eyes. Yet even amid the grandeur, a sense of longing stirred quietly within him, a curiosity about the world that could not be stilled by music or mirth.
As Siddhartha approached his 29th year, this quiet yearning grew stronger. He began to wonder about the lives of those beyond his sheltered gates. It was then that he ventured out into the city and encountered what would later become known as the Four Sights. First, he saw an old man, stooped and frail. Then, a person stricken with illness, their suffering etched deeply upon their face. Next, a lifeless body, surrounded by mourners. And finally, a wandering holy man, his possessions few, but his demeanor serene. The impact of these revelations was profound. For the first time, Siddhartha confronted the realities of aging, sickness, and death, the unavoidable shadows of human existence.
He realized that no wall could truly keep suffering at bay. Saddened, but also awakened, Siddhartha returned to the palace. That night he made a decision that would alter the course of his life, and the world's. He quietly kissed his sleeping wife and son goodbye, left his jewelry and fine clothes behind, and slipped out into the darkness. Shedding his royal identity, he donned the humble robes of a wanderer, determined to search for answers to life's deepest questions. Why do we suffer? Is lasting peace possible? Is there a way beyond the endless cycles of birth, death, and rebirth? Siddhartha's journey led him to remote forests and the company of India's most eminent sages. For the next 6 years, he embraced the life of an ascetic, practicing severe austerities. He fasted until only skin and bone remained, meditated for long hours in blistering heat and bone-chilling cold, and denied his body nearly every comfort. The idea was simple. If pleasure and luxury only increased attachment and suffering, then the opposite, renunciation and self-mortification, might bring liberation. But as the days turned into years, Siddhartha discovered that extremity did not yield clarity. His health declined, his mind grew clouded, and enlightenment remained as elusive as ever. On the verge of collapse, he accepted a bowl of rice from a compassionate village woman, restoring his strength. This small act was a turning point. Siddhartha realized that neither indulgence nor self-punishment could lead to the truth he sought. There had to be a middle way, a path of balance between the extremes.
With renewed resolve, Siddhartha took his place beneath a large Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya. There, he made a solemn vow. He would not rise until he had found the answers for which he had forsaken everything. Night and day passed as he meditated, contending with temptations, fears, and the inner illusions that cloud the mind. Memories of his past, visions of pleasure and terror, all arose in his consciousness. Through unwavering focus and deep compassion, Siddhartha watched each arise and pass away.
After 49 days, a profound understanding dawned within him. He saw the world as it truly is, the reality of suffering, its origins, and the path that could bring it to an end. These realizations would become known as the Four Noble Truths. He also discerned the Eightfold Path, a guide for ethical and mental discipline that leads to wisdom, love, and freedom from suffering. In that moment of awakening, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, the awakened one. His search was over. He had found the liberating truth that had eluded him for so long. But the Buddha did not keep this knowledge to himself. Moved by compassion, he resolved to share the way to freedom with all beings. From Bodh Gaya, he traveled to Sarnath and offered his first sermon to a handful of his former companions. There, he explained the Four Noble Truths and the Middle Way, planting the seeds of a new spiritual movement. Over the next 45 years, the Buddha wandered across the plains of India, teaching people from every walk of life. Kings and paupers, merchants and farmers, men and women, young and old, all came to hear his words and join his growing community, known as the Sangha. His teachings, called the Dharma, emphasized kindness, mindfulness, and the limitless capacity for each individual to awaken from ignorance and suffering. The Buddha's wisdom transformed lives and inspired generations. He asked for nothing in return, living simply and always focusing on helping others find their own awakening. Even as his fame spread, he remained humble and devoted to the cause of liberation. When the Buddha was 80 years old, he felt his final moments approaching. Surrounded by his followers, he entered a deep, peaceful meditation and passed into parinirvana, the final release from all earthly bonds. Though his physical form departed, the light of his teachings continues to shine today. From the splendor of a palace to the serenity beneath the Bodhi tree, Siddhartha's journey is one of courage, sacrifice, and boundless compassion. His life stands as a reminder that true peace comes not from wealth or power, but from wisdom and love. The Buddha's example encourages each of us to look inside, question what we cling to, and seek the deeper truths that unite us all. Through understanding, patience, and mindful living, we too can embark on the path of awakening and share its blessings with the world.